The following is rated S for spoilers.
Move! I'm not going out there! Beyond the edge of the barrels. Go to the end of the barrels. Further out.
What?
Further out.
Why?
Go further out.
What for?
Will you go to the end of the pulpit, please?
What?
Will you please go to the end of the pulpit?
What for?
I need to have something in the foreground to give it some scale.
Hello and welcome to the Popcorn Hangover. My name is Alex.
My name is Graham.
And today we are having a bit of a summer rewind here. Last week was Labor Day, which marks the end of the summer movie season. And there's a lot of movies we're going to discuss, but we figured the best way to celebrate summer is to go back. The first summer blockbuster with Jaws in 1975, making its return to the theaters here at the end. So we're going to be talking Jaws, and then in this first segment, and then we're going to jump over to some other summer movies, some of our thoughts on things that we have seen, some things that we haven't talked about on the podcast. But if you're watching the show, and even if you're listening, you may notice that things sound a little different. Graham is not with me in the studio today. Graham, you've had a rough week.
It has been a very long week, yeah. But I am still here, still going, so excited to just jump into it.
Yeah, so Jaws, I don't think I need to say all this stuff for most people, because I'm sure most people know this by now, but it was directed by Steven Spielberg, written by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb, starring Roy Schneider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss. Initially released in June, 20th of June, 1975, with an estimated budget of $7 million. It made about that same amount its opening weekend, and as of now, it has an estimated $475 million worldwide gross. So, I mean, it's back in theaters for who knows how many times. I mean, Jaws is still kicking. Yeah. Or I guess swimming in this case. Graham, what are your thoughts on Jaws?
So I remember watching this like when I was growing up. I legitimately don't know if I've ever actually seen it all the way through though. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, jumping into this time. Unfortunately, again, been a long week. I've not had the chance to see it in theaters for a re-release or anything like that, but I was able to, thanks to streaming, just watch it at home.
Yeah.
Good old couch. So
yes.
Yeah, just got to sit down, watch the movie, which honestly it was great. I really, I don't like horror movies. I'm not a big horror guy at all, but anything that's got like the suspenseful, with this being as old as it is, it's not too scary by any means because you kind of see everything going on.
I don't know. It's pretty graphic though. There's a lot of blood. There's
it definitely is way more than I actually like remembered or thought of. Like I was like, okay, like kind of went hard, but
you watched that as a kid,
these movies
is kind of intense.
I was probably like 10 or 11. I wasn't like a teenager yet, probably, but I remember I was like younger and it was like always on. I remember my family watched it a few times. So like, but yeah, no, sitting this time just straight through, it was dope. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I saw this movie the first time a few years ago, like all the way through. And I think it's been so overhyped because it's considered like one of the best movies of all time. And I think I was expecting more from it. And like, I don't know. I think my own expectations kind of ruined it for me. And so I liked it. It's a good movie, but I didn't care for it the first time. And then I was sitting there watching it again and prep for this episode. And I kind of hated myself because this movie is freaking perfect. Everything about it is just brilliant. I don't know what was wrong with me years ago. I don't know if I had like... I don't know if I hit my head or what, but this movie is fantastic. Like 5 out of 5 stars for me. I cannot think of a single thing wrong with it. It's just, I don't know, just like you said earlier, like it's so suspenseful. And like a lot of people talk about Jaws and like they love Jaws because like it's brilliant because they don't show the shark. And sure, like that's true, but it's not necessarily just the fact that they don't show the shark. It's the way that they build suspense, and by not showing the shark, you're able to build more of that suspense. But like the suspense around it, and the way, I mean, when Chief is like sitting on the beach and like they open it back up, and he's just watching all of these people, and like the way it would just jump like in and out of different like focal lengths and like going all over the thing, like people are walking right by him. Like, just all of it was so beautifully done. And then John Williams' score. I mean, it's John Williams, so there's nothing new there. But like,
so good. It was so good. Yeah,
I loved this movie so much more than I did the first time around. I don't know what happened, but maybe it's because I didn't see it in a theater the first time, or I don't know what it was. But like, this movie is fantastic.
It was so good, dude. I was going to mention the funny thing with the music is anytime anything would start playing, the captions captions weren't on. I was watching it. There were no captions, but anytime music started playing, there's like a musical caption, and it was always just like adventurous instrumental melody of summer, and then like it would cut to another one, and it would be like eerie, scary instrumental music, and I was like, who typed these? Like, they're not official whatsoever.
Yeah, that is not.
I thought it was really funny.
That is not how I would describe that score. I mean, maybe like eerie,
right?
Like, I don't know. Definitely not adventurous summer vibes. Yeah. I don't know.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
We're not the only ones that like this movie. Rotten Tomatoes has a 97% critic score and 90% audience score. IMDb has an 8.1. Letterboxd has a 4 out of 5 stars. Fun fact. I meant to say this earlier when I was going through the stars list. Some people really care about like the order in which the stars are like listed out. Whenever I do these, I just kind of write down the names of the people that I think had a big role in the movie. But there's a lot of debate over who gets top billing in this movie, because when they open credits, they have the 3 names: Roy Schneider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, whatever.
Right.
But depending on how you read it, it depends on who gets which billing. So if you read it from like the top down, you have Roy Schneider's name on top, and then below that you have Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss laid out horizontally. So it's kind of like a pyramid. So read it from the top down, then Roy Schneider would be the top billing. But if you read it from the left to right, then Robert Shaw would be top billing. And then either way, Richard Dreyfuss gets gypped, which I don't know. I think it's just a fun fact. No one knows like who went in which order, because I don't know. And I like the way they did that too, because it doesn't put one person on a pedestal really. Like everyone, all 3 of them did fantastic jobs, and they all played really integral roles in the movie. And so I appreciate that. Like that wasn't. It's not like some movies where at Dune where you have Zendaya as like the 3rd billing and she's in like the last 5 minutes and has 2 lines and that's it.
Right.
Like, so I appreciate that. Graham, like, I don't know, as a kid, like, did this movie like scare you at all?
Like 100%, dude. So me personally, even to this day, I don't like water I can't see under, like I can't see through.
Okay.
We go to the lake all the time. We're on the water, jet skis, boats, fun stuff. Don't get me wrong, but boy, not knowing what's underneath you scares the living hell out of me, man. That's terrifying. I love swimming. Put me in a pool, I'll go. Yeah, dude, sure. Like I just don't like. For that reason, obviously, I know like in certain areas, there's not going to be sharks. There's not going to be anything that's going to get me in that sense. But I've always had a little fear of like, what's under there? You don't know. That's a suspense that sticks with you. So a little unfortunate there, but.
Well, I think that's part of the
other
genius.
Than that, I mean, no.
I think that's part of the genius of like this idea though too, is like, that is a genuine fear. Like, and the way that they shot it in that way of going underwater. I mean, most of the sequence the first half of the movie, because you don't see Jaws until halfway through. Like the first half is all just underwater where no one's looking or can see what's under there.
Right.
That's fair. I don't know. I never saw this as a kid, so I can't really comment on that question. But I feel like it definitely would have freaked me out. Like even still, like when he pulls like the severed arm off of like the autopsy table, like it does not look like a real severed arm, but still just like the thought of it.
It's 100% just a mannequin arm. Like that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny too, because when like her remains are like on the beach and they show like a clip of like her hand, like all the fingernails are still painted, everything's there. She's missing a finger, but it is just a straight like just a mannequin hand. There's no like bone, there's no blood. There's just, you could just see the flat top like mannequin. So I just thought it was funny because obviously it's 75. I mean
1975, and it had a $7 million budget. Given that's not accounting for inflation, so that's a lot bigger technically than how we would look at it now. But like that's still not.
And dude, the amount of equipment and boats and ships and I mean, dude, they were paying for a lot more other things than a mannequin hand.
Well, yeah, and honestly, I think the budget is is really what they did with that budget and with the technology that they had in 75 is really impressive. Like some of the shots and things that Spielberg was doing was just I was impressed watching
Spielberg, though.
I mean, yes, that's true. That is Spielberg, but like this is early Spielberg too. Like he hasn't done a lot of the stuff that he's known for. I mean, I have Jurassic Park behind me. Like and this is like, I don't know, like just seeing his evolution and the fact that he's still going is just blows my mind. Like
that is true. I was gonna say that is actually pretty wild.
West Side Story was probably my top 5 movies of last year, even though I was like very against it. I did not like the idea of him doing that, and it was fantastic. I would almost say it's my favorite version of West Side Story. I don't know, what Spielberg was able to do with the budget, like especially in that first half with a lot of the beach sequences. To be honest, this movie should be really boring. Like the first half is all just on a beach, so you just have people running around not being scared of the shark or not knowing that they should be. And the second half is just all on a boat. And I think the way that he shot a lot of the boat sequences were incredible because they're just open sea. Like there's nothing around to be like to draw your eye towards anything. There's no interesting background really other than the ocean. But the fact that I was still engaged throughout it all was really interesting.
Yeah. No, it definitely holds your attention all the way through. And like I said, biggest thing comes back to the suspense with it. Just because dude, they could have held my attention for way longer. Like that 2-hour movie, it didn't feel like 2 hours. In all honesty, like the beginning part, I was going to mention, like it does feel a little slower, obviously, just because it's built up. But even then, like it's still not bad. Just because, no one knows what's going on. He knows he can't shut down the beach. Like the mayor's just kind of like in it for the money. Like I was just
it's frustrating. So, I don't know about you, but I was frustrated watching. Like, come on, dude! Like, you're gonna lose more money in the long run if everyone dies this 4th of July. Like, no one's gonna come back. So,
I had like a thought.
Okay,
and I was like, Hopper, Brody. It was Brody. It's not Brody. It's his name is just Hopper.
It's
yeah,
you're right.
Or Hooper. Yeah. He homeboy's rich, right? Rich family, buys all the equipment. He does this more or less as like a hobby. If he wanted him to shut the beach down so bad, because he knew that would put his name on the map and that would like make him big, and he would get that catch and he would get that win. Why was he just not like, how much would it cost you to shut down your beach? Like, these shops are going to lose money. I have money. Let me just pay you to shut down your beach. Like, you still get your tourists. Like, that's just like the immediate thought. I was like, homeboy could have like solved that, but I was also like, but for like personal gain, like, what would that make sense? But it does kind of make sense because like he would have probably gotten that shark a little faster, a lot less trouble. But,
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Just a thought.
I mean, or like he could have paid the $10,000 to give to Robert Shaw to go out on the boat,
right?
Yeah, that's an interesting.
And just
point.
Go with him, and
I mean, it was kind of, that whole scene was like when they're on like his like super high tech little radar boat thing.
Little yacht.
Like that whole thing was
like
so
a straight up yacht.
Was so random. Like, did he like drive his yacht to like Amity?
So where did he get it?
Did he just like, is that how he got there? He just like rode his boat all the way up whatever coast? Like, I don't.
Just
how does that work? So that yacht scene was really weird. But did you know there was actually the TV version of this movie is actually longer?
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, because with
how
TV,
what's the difference?
So the TV version, they added an extra scene to make it an even 3 hours with ad breaks. And the extra scene is just like the three of them, like just killing random shark, like fish and stuff. Like it's just them like having a good old time killing fish because, what else are you going to do?
That's pretty interesting.
Yes.
Dude, honestly, the three of them, that was such a good group. Like they had one of my favorite parts was literally like when they're all like drinking that night, like on the boat, and they're just like showing scars, showing this. He's like, well, I got this. Well, I got this. Well, look at my leg. Look at my leg. They're like, let's drink to our legs. I was like, dude.
Yes.
They're just like hanging out. Like the three of them were great.
Well, and that was like the perfect, like structurally, like that was the perfect, just like calm before the storm. Because after that point, it is just, it's nonstop of like, they're going after the shark. But like, I don't know, that point was just, that was like, it was so ridiculous and honestly it was almost out of place, but it was so necessary in a movie that is so like suspenseful and like on the edge of your seat the whole time that you needed to watch these three guys get drunk and sing sea chanties, because what else are you going to do on a boat in the middle of the night?
One thing, which I don't know if I totally missed this. I might have just completely missed this. When he smashed the radio, why did he do that?
I think it's kind of up to interpretation. I don't think there's a specific reason.
Okay.
I think it's because...
Okay, I didn't know.
I mean, like, dude's freaking crazy. I mean, the stuff that he saw in World War II, like, that messed him up.
Going through things, yeah.
Right, so he didn't really... Because that was part of the whole point of that whole story, is like, he doesn't like the Coast Guard and like these other agencies coming to save him, because that reminds him of his experience. And also, I think there's an element of like, he doesn't want the Coast Guard to get involved and ruin everything, because they're going to mess everything up. If the Coast Guard comes and saves him, then he's not going to get his money. So I think there's a lot of elements like that. I don't know. What did you think of Robert Shaw's character as a whole? His grizzled, nails on a chalkboard to get everyone's attention, just in it for the money.
That sucked. That sucked. That was horrible. Whoever's idea that was awful. But I thought he was
a great idea. Like, because that was kind of the point. Like, I'm going to introduce this character.
Right.
How can we introduce a character and make you hate him immediately? Let's have him run his nails down a chalkboard.
That's fair. But see, that's the thing is like me, like I didn't like ever like hate him. Like he's just dude. He's just a old grungy fisherman dude. Like that's how he's gonna talk. That's how he's gonna act. He just genuinely doesn't give an F. Like that's who he is. So that's why I was just like, no, yeah, he's just hardcore. Like I liked his character a lot, honestly. Like I was just like, heck yeah. And then when in the end, I was like, R.I.P. But
I don't know. I wish he would have had. That's something I appreciate the movie too. Is it's not overly dramatic. Like obviously you have to have elements of drama and things in your movies to keep them interesting. But like, and sure, I guess him getting eaten by a shark very slowly is pretty dramatic. But like, I feel like if this movie were made today, it would have been a whole like he's being half eaten and he's like giving some motivational speech like, "You can do it! Like kill the shark in honor of me," or something like that. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like if Jaws was made today, like there would just be some random crap like that in the middle of him getting eaten by a shark. That. Or right before he would say something like, I'm not gonna make it back because I don't know.
Right. Like one person's got to do it or someone's got to, yeah.
Assuming that Spielberg had the same kind of path and like trajectory, do you think that the movie would be better if it was made today? Or do you think it works because it's so old?
I don't know. There's always, with me, it's always like a toss up in the air when it comes to this kind of question, because the biggest thing comes down to I feel like the practical and then special effects with what you can do. Like a lot of this movie was like all like practical effects. That giant shark would not be some man-made puppet thing. It would literally just be a CGI shark, which again, like at this point, it's up in the air. Is that going to look good? Is it not going to look good? Is it kind of depends on the work put into it. I feel like you could definitely get the same like level of suspense and like style done in today's time if it were shot with the same direction and same like ideas. Though I guess it wouldn't be a totally different movie, but I feel like it would be, because I feel like I really just feel like that'd be the biggest thing, like the practical effects versus like special effects. The biggest difference is would be that there.
Well, and then like, kind of to play devil's advocate though too, is like, to your point, is like if
they could do so much more.
Well, like if they did have special effects, right? Like, yeah, like sure, like they could add more. Like some of those scenes, like with dead bodies, would look a whole lot better. The one where Hooper goes in the cave or like underneath the boat and like the body comes out, like it just looks silly. Like it was so ridiculous. Yeah. Like stuff like that could be better, but at the same time, like you got to think the reason the first half doesn't have Jaws is because the shark was broken. It wouldn't work for the shots they needed it to. So that's why we didn't see the shark for the first half of the movie. It wasn't like that wasn't an intentional decision. That was just the shark doesn't work anymore. So I guess we're just gonna have to find a way to not use the shark. So like one of the best parts about the movie was honestly, it was just a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
That's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't. I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty like,
Yeah.
a relatively like well-known fact about Jaws, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm who I am. I don't know, but I think that says a lot. Because like one of the things I'm like I want to say passionate about, but like one of the philosophies I follow is like the best creativity comes from restrictions. Like when you put yourself in a box, like you can't think outside the box if there's no box that you're inside of. And so like when you're put in a situation like that, I mean, Jaws is known for suspense and it's known for not showing the shark. Anytime there's some sort of monster movie and they don't show the monster for a certain period of time or like for the entire movie, it's always compared to Jaws. So they did the Jaws effect or whatever. Right. But that was an accident because they were restricted by their budget and their shark just not working. Like, I don't know. I think that's really cool how like it's just they had this restriction and Spielberg was just able to, and I'm sure other people were involved in the decision too, but like, you know, that's also comes down to editing as well. But like how they were able to make the best out of a really bad situation when you have a shark movie where the shark doesn't work. And then the movie is probably better than it would have been if they had showed the shark in the first scene. I don't know. I think it's really, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. That is.
So Graham,
I was gonna say something there and that totally blanked out.
Oh, so you were gonna say something you blanked. So Graham, on your rating scale, right? You say you rank a good movie based on if you'd watch it again. You did watch it again, but mostly because I made you. Like, is this ranked on like a good movie level? Like, would you watch this on your own accord in the future? You don't
honestly. I don't think I would. But like, not because I was like ever bored with it or like I didn't care. It's definitely not my like style of movie I would ever just choose to. I have at this point almost like 23 plus installments of Marvel movies I could pick from. So I'm normally pretty well set if I have to choose something.
That's fair. There are a lot of angry movie nerds like clenching their fists at you right now. Like, this guy's gonna choose a Marvel movie over Jaws.
That's what this guy's choose. That's all this guy watches. I mean, here's the thing. That's not all I watch, but I mean, if there was like a group of people and we were like, hey, like, what's such a movie? Like, someone was like, oh, Jaws. Like, dude, I'd be like, yeah, I would have no complaints. I wouldn't turn it down.
Sure.
It's just on my own accord. If I'm sitting down flipping through, I'm not gonna be like, Jaws. Let's watch
Jaws is on Netflix.
Like,
let's watch that really quick. Okay.
Yeah, like that's not gonna be my kind of go-to. So, but yeah, but like I said, I would never turn it down. Or same thing, if you were like, dude, Jaws is in the theater, so let's go. I'm always trying to go to the theater. I would love to go to the theater. Like, let's go watch Jaws. Yeah, you know.
Okay, that's fair. That's an acceptable answer. I mean, I think I made my opinion on it pretty clear. I think this movie is perfect. I just need to watch it over and over and over again now, just to digest all of the things. Because there's
every little bits.
There's just so much to just the camera movements. Because like, I mean, I've said before, I determine the thing that makes a movie good for me is how it utilizes all the elements of filmmaking, and I think it does this perfectly, especially just with it being so old. But to your point as well, and it's funny. I was actually talking to a guy earlier today about movies, and he was talking about how like there's some stuff like Whiplash or Birdman where like they're fantastic movies, but you can't just like sit down and watch those over and over again because they're so intense. Like, you can't just like repeat like some of these like intense movies. Schindler's List is like one for me. I mean, Whiplash I don't totally agree with because I love that movie, but like Schindler's List is a movie that like I would love to watch again, but I don't know if I can mentally handle all of what Schindler's List is again because it's so intense. And I kind of feel like Jaws can kind of fit in that category just because it is so suspenseful. And I don't know, like it can be hard to watch over and over again. And I also just wonder, like, if I did watch this like once a week, if I watch this as much as I watch something like, say, La La Land, like I feel like the suspense would be ruined, and would that ruin the whole movie? Hypothetically, I don't know.
I feel like it would because that's the thing. And like, here's the thing, definitely like watching this like I did when I watched it, almost had the same feel as if I was watching it again for the first time, because like I didn't know every little jump, and like that, I think that's a big part in what people enjoy it for. Just like I always say, like my wife's favorite movie is The Shining, like Stephen King. We've watched that movie several times. It's got that same kind of like suspense style. I never thought that was really like horror style. I never got that from that movie, like his other movies. But like I've watched it so many times. Like it's just, you know what's coming. You know what's there. You know the line that they're going to say. So that's why I'm like, no, I feel like, if I were to watch Jaws just over and over and over again, I feel like it'd just be a shark movie.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Yeah, you would lose the experience of Jaws.
Definitely.
For sure. Graham, any final thoughts on Jaws?
Man, I don't know. Like I said, for summer movie, I could see myself watching this once a year. This is that type of summer movie. Good way to end the summer on, for sure.
We should do that like an annual event, like every post Labor Day show. We'll talk about Jaws again.
See how many years we can make it without it. That would be good.
Yeah, for sure. So we're talking Jaws now because, like we said earlier, Jaws is like the summer blockbuster, the one that really made summer blockbusters what they are today. And we've had a lot of movies this summer. We've talked about a lot of them, but there's so many others that came out that we did not get the chance to talk about, and we want to talk about it. So that's what we're gonna do next segment. So stay tuned for our thoughts on all sorts of things that came out this summer.
Dude, I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a lot of fun, and it's not as difficult as I thought it would be.
No, not at all. Like Anchor has made it especially easy when it comes to like actually getting our podcast out on the air. Because when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on all the listening platforms. So easy getting it over to Spotify, getting it to Apple, wherever you're trying to get your podcast to. Yeah,
I think we're on like 7 platforms just through Anchor, and not even just the distribution, but even just creating the podcast. Like there's so many recording and editing tools within it, so you can record, edit, add music in, sound effects, all sorts of things directly through Anchor, and it is free.
Dude, that's amazing.
It's incredible. So if you would like to start your own podcast, just like ours, go to anchor.fm on your desktop device, or you can go on to your mobile app store and download the Anchor app. Welcome back. We are doing a nice summer rewind as Graham shows off his eyebrow skills. I guess that's what that was. I don't know how else to describe that. If you're listening to the audio podcast,
you're on my side right now.
Yeah, if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, that was a really weird description. Go check out our YouTube channel at the Popcorn Hangover to see what that was all about. Graham, it's been a long summer. It's been a good summer, but it's been a long summer with a lot
of content.
A lot of content. Is there anything that like sticks out as like your favorite? Like, what are like your top 3 movies of the summer?
Of this summer? Honestly, probably Maverick is number 1.
Maverick, okay.
I'm gonna throw that up there.
Yeah,
that movie was just phenomenal.
That movie is
I would go
perfection.
see that any minute.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, Maverick would definitely be the first. I'd throw Multiverse of Madness up there as my second, because I don't know, just the hype that we had around it.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm like looking through this list too, and I'm just like, out of like what I saw, there's like a few. Honestly, right now it's in the running. Do you say top 3?
I said top 3.
It's in the running for top. Okay, it's in the running for top 3. My second is actually going to be Vengeance.
Okay.
That movie was, I like that a lot. I really enjoyed the movie.
Sure.
That was just like some totally different. Really, really enjoyed that movie. And like I said, out of the other ones that I've seen that are on this list, I mean, really, I'd probably say like for the Marvel movie, like Multiverse of Madness.
Really? So like Doctor Strange more than Thor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would sit down and watch Multiverse of Madness right now.
Interesting.
Thor, I did not really care for too much. It was funny, like it was good, but it was just I don't think either of those are in my top 3, but like
I feel like I would put Thor above Multiverse of Madness. Just me personally.
Really?
They were both I feel like they're both on the same tier of Marvel movies as a whole. But I feel like
Well,
Thor,
that's how I see it too. Like, don't get me wrong, that's how I see it.
there's
like
still
an
a very
overall,
there's still a very mid-level Marvel movie. I think
100%. Yeah, I'm not saying this is like a number one Marvel movie. I'm just saying out of those two, what I personally took out of the summer, was Multiverse of Madness. I'll put number 3. Honorable mentions, Lightyear. That was dope to watch. I enjoyed watching that. Like I said, I just you can go listen to that episode. I loved it. Bob's Burgers movie. Me and my wife absolutely love the show. We've watched it for years. That movie was really funny. That movie, have you seen it?
I have not seen that movie.
Yeah. Okay. It is great. You don't really have to watch the show though for the movie. It's pretty standalone. It's just hilarious overall. And like I said, some honorable mentions, but I'd definitely probably say like Maverick and then Vengeance and then Multiverse of Madness would probably be my top 3 out of what we've got here.
Cool. So my top 3, I'll do it in reverse order just to spice things up. I think number 3, Bodies. I think mostly because it was just a surprise. Like I had no real interest in it until I like heard a little bit of buzz, and I saw it, and it was brilliant. It was really greatly written. Some of the stuff they were able to do with lighting in that movie like really stood out. I don't know, like that. For me, I don't even want to say like some are better or worse, because I mean, if you want to hear all of our thoughts on the majority of these movies, go scroll through some of our other episodes. But like, I don't know, just something about that movie like just really sticks out to me. Number 2 is another one of the exact same scenario. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. One of the most adorable movies I've ever seen. It's literally like when you walk out of the theater, it's like you watched it's like you just feel like you just got like a really big hug. Like it's just so heartwarming and great. And I don't know, like it was. I think it also helped that I watched that movie before I saw Nope for the first time. Like I did like a back-to-back kind of thing. And so like going into that, like, oh man, this is really great. And then going into Nope was like a bit of a, maybe not the best decision. I probably should have flipped those two around. But yeah. I don't know. I love Marcel the Show with Shoes On. It was a surprise. I thought it looked kind of dumb when I first saw the trailers, and then I started to hear, some buzz around it, and I bit the bullet, and it was very well worth it. And then number 1, of course, is Top Gun Maverick. I feel like if that's not the number 1, there's something wrong with you. There's no other way to put it. Honorable mentions for me though, you gave 2, so I'll give 2. Elvis was fantastic. Did you get a chance to see that?
I have not. No. Okay. Actually, the only movie out of your list so far that I've seen is Maverick. I have not seen any of the other 3 yet. So
what's new?
Let's hear number 4.
What's new? Also, can we congratulate Graham for at least having seen some of Jaws as a kid? Round of applause to Graham.
I would say this wasn't a movie he's never
actually seen
before,
an old movie before. So great job to you. I need to add a clapping sound effect onto my board here. Anyway,
it's that like classic like cheer. Woo.
Yeah. Woo. Anyway, honorable mentions for me. Or starting with Elvis, Austin Butler absolutely knocked it out of the park as Elvis. Especially considering he was a relatively unknown actor, like just absolutely killed it in the role. Elvis is great. A really interesting story. My only complaints are, much like the life of Elvis, there is no chance to breathe. It is just really fast. I mean, they have like an entire lifetime to go through, so it kind of needed to be this way. But it's nearly 3 hours long, and you do not have a chance to catch your breath. And some of the decisions with how they were portraying some of the characters was not entirely accurate, especially with Tom Hanks' character. They tried to fix it in post, and he was still very much like a villain, whereas in reality, apparently, he was not a villainous character. I really want to see the initial edit and the initial script where he was even, apparently, according to Tom Hanks, they like scaled the villainous stuff down a whole lot. And so I don't know. I'm curious to see like how was he initially like portrayed in that movie? Because apparently he was just like a really great guy that was extremely greedy, but like did genuinely love Elvis and his family. But anyway, Elvis an honorable mention for me. The other one it would be my number one, but it didn't technically release in the summer. But it became popular on Netflix in the summer, and that's RRR, Rise, Revolt, or Rise, Roar, Revolt, in some order of that. That's what the R stand for. This movie might be one of the best movies I've ever seen. It is just, it's pure just spectacle on a whole other level. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's on Netflix. I don't know. It came out in June, I think, on Netflix, and that's kind of when it gained popularity here in the States. It technically released in April in India, but it's just, I cannot say enough good things about this movie. I have no bad things to say about this movie. I think the best review of it that I've seen said it's going to win Best Foreign Picture. It's going to win probably Best Picture. It's going to win Best Drama, Best Period Piece. It's going to win Best Musical, Best Action Film. Like, just all the things, like, none those things don't all, like, fit together. Like, musical, action, period, foreign, drama. Just, like,
you don't get all that in one.
That is not a mix. And if it is a mix, like, it's going to be pretty bad, or it should be. And this movie is just, it's phenomenal. I cannot say enough good things about it. We'll probably do an episode on it at some point, because I have so many thoughts that we
still
can't
need
fit.
to see it.
We can't fit into, like, this one little, like, wrap up. But yeah, RRR was phenomenal, and it would be my number one. But if you count a Netflix debut as a summer release, that's how much I like this movie. Is that I included it on a summer rewind that when it isn't actually doesn't belong there. Anyway, those are our favorites of the summer. This one, I feel like, Graham, you're gonna have some strong opinions on. What are your, like, top 3 worst movies of the summer? If you can think of 3.
Nope.
Really?
Didn't care for.
Okay. Okay. What are your other 3?
Yeah.
What are the other 2? Nope. Okay. Nope.
The other 2, Jurassic World.
Yeah.
I turned someone down that was going to watch that movie tonight. And I said, honestly, rent any other movie. I said, don't actually pay to watch that movie. Wait till it's free. I think it actually might be free on, like, HBO Max or something at this point. I don't know.
That sounds right.
But I told him not to watch it. And then,
can I guess what your third one will be?
yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's The Gray Man.
Yeah.
But is there another one that you're like tossing up in there?
Honestly, no. I'm debating whether or not to toss it in there. Because, like, he's like, it was not, like, the greatest movie. Don't get me wrong. I would probably watch it again.
You would rather watch The Gray Man over watching Nope? What is wrong with you?
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, yeah.
What?
Nope is one of the movies where like, I've watched it once. Once is plenty. It'll be like 30 years from now. They'll be like, hey, you remember Nope? Like,
really?
Nope, that like the alien, like, Nope came out. I'm like, yeah. Not going to watch it again. I don't know. That's just me personally.
I was about to say, like, you had really great thoughts on it, but you weren't on that episode. So I guess we haven't heard your thoughts on Nope, Graham. So apparently you really hate the movie.
I didn't record Nope. Yeah, I didn't get on. I was going to say, I was honestly like,
what is your 90-second review of Nope? Because apparently I did not know it. I did not know you had such strong feelings about this movie.
Well, they're not like super strong feelings. It's just I didn't have any strong feelings that would make me watch it again. Honestly,
Fair.
the only the character that I like related with the most, or like honestly was so like into during that movie was literally the tech guy. Don't even remember his name. That's just what I love doing. I would love just to run out and be like, let me set up 50 cameras, let me watch them for you. Like, let me do. That's literally like me. So, no, he was hilarious.
Minus
honestly,
the
like
stalking part where he like is watching their cameras and stuff. That's
a little aggressive. Yeah, I wouldn't do
illegal.
that. I wouldn't do that.
Cameras do illegal.
That's illegal. Yeah. No, never. What? Not like that.
Huh?
Not on that level. But no, just kidding. What? No, but I don't know. The pacing of the movie I thought was a little weird. In all honesty, I didn't like.
Okay.
I just didn't like it. It was one of those like suspenseful movies, which I kind of like. It had a different feel because I really thought it was going to be more like horror, kind of like I really thought it was going to be like more of like a something else. But here's the thing too. I watched the trailer for it and genuinely had no concept that this was about aliens until we get halfway through. I'm sitting next to you and I said, "Is that an alien?" And you were like, "Yeah." I was like a real UFO, and you're like, "Yeah, that's what this is about." And I was like,
See, okay, here's the thing, Graham.
I
Graham, that is on you. Everyone in the world knew that movie was about aliens. I don't know what trailer you saw, but that is on you.
I don't know, man. And honestly, it might be, and that's fair. But that's the thing is, I didn't go in expecting a different movie. I really didn't know what to expect, and then going in,
Sure.
not having my expectations held up to really anything, kind of just shot it down for me. And like I said, like sitting there, like dude, I don't even know. Like that's how I got to put it. Honestly, I found the whole like monkey murdering TV show, kid grows up as the rodeo owner dude. Like, found that little backstory way more interesting than anything about the house and the siblings that were like trying to catch the thing and then hiring the old guy for the photo. Like, I could have just, dude, like the monkey, that was nuts. Like that's what I held on to.
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, that movie, especially for my little review, sounds like the movie's all over the place. Obviously, if anyone else has seen it, they probably enjoyed it a little more than I did. But that's the thing is, I don't know.
I think the other thing that's against you and here is like with Jordan Peele movies, like you kind of have to watch them multiple times to really like get the fullness of it. And so, I mean, with it not like getting your attention enough, like on the first watch to make you want to do a second one, I think just like, I don't know.
That's fair.
And I would also say,
yeah,
just knowing you, I can see how like it's just not like your kind of movie, like just in general.
Not.
So yeah. You can have your own opinion, but it can still be wrong. It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to like Nope.
Thanks, bro.
I really liked Nope. Thanks. If you want to hear all my thoughts on it, go listen to our episode on Nope. It was with Andrew Sexton, who also thoroughly enjoyed that movie. My bottom three, Jurassic World Dominion and The Gray Man, would both be on there.
So what's your third one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about The Gray Man or Jurassic World Dominion any more than the hour-long episodes you did on those. Number 3 is Spiderhead. Do you know anything about this movie? Did you watch this? It's a Netflix original.
Spiderhead, I've never heard of. Oh,
it's got a.
No, I wanted to watch it. It's Chris Hemsworth in it, right?
It's Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller. Yeah. I mean, I figured you'd be all over this one because those are like your two guys.
I didn't know it came out. I remember I watched a trailer for that and I was like, I could get behind this. Like I wasn't like too excited for it. Obviously, I didn't even know it came out. But
yes, I mean, it was.
That's whack.
I saw a trailer. I saw the cast. Like, oh, this is an interesting concept. You have these prisoners who are able to go live a life of luxury, with the caveat that they have to be used for like these experiments and stuff.
Tests or whatever.
Yes. Really cool idea. Pretty poor execution. There wasn't a lot with an idea. It's based on like a short story, and with an idea like that, it's hard to like make a 90-minute movie out of it. And I want to say it was 2 hours. I could be making that up. That's another movie I just don't want to think about too much.
Whoa.
But like it was stretched a little long. And also the one thing I will say about it, and I think the one upside to it is the most made during COVID-19 movie I've ever seen. It was all shot on very long lenses with one person in the frame for the most part. it's all like in a bunker. It is the most COVID movie ever. And the fact that they pulled it off and like they still made it look good and they still made a story work really well within the confines of COVID-19 restrictions is an impressive feat, and I will give them credit for that. It wasn't a great movie. I'll put it at that.
I don't know. That's one I definitely want to see at some point. I'll probably try and watch that soon, just to see. But yeah, I forgot that even came out.
Yes, I mean, I would still recommend it. It was like, I would recommend it if like you're like Graham and you like those actors and you're curious about it. Like it wasn't terrible, but to use your scale, I would never ever watch it again. Once was enough. It was a fine experience. I'm okay never seeing it again. I want to talk about some interesting things going on this summer. Because with the summer blockbuster season, you have like, a lot of this is based on like box office numbers and things like that. That's why we had those movie seasons, right? So like summer blockbusters are kind of there just to make a ton of money for the most part. I mean, you have, 2 Marvel movies coming out over the summer season, Top Gun Maverick, Jurassic World, Lightyear. You have these big movies that are just kind of there to like capitalize on all the money opportunities. Bullet Train, I think, is another just classic summer blockbuster. You have Minions is I mean, if that came out any other time of the year, you're not going to get your target audience of children into the theater as much.
Right.
Or Graham, because I think you did go see that eventually, right?
It was like last week. It was like recent, but and honestly, here's the thing.
Was it good? Should I have given it a chance?
It's not a movie I could sit here and talk for an hour. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
It's a movie I would. Yeah, I mean, it was funny. It was cute. It fit right along with the other ones. Like I say, definitely a Minions movie, not like the whole Despicable Me like type of movie. I guess they're like separate, really.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was fun. It was cute.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like you have like, you're not really getting, with the exception of like Top Gun Maverick, RRR if you want to count it on this list, and I mean,
yeah,
Elvis might get some Academy Award nominations. Maybe like Austin Butler might get Best Actor. Other than that, you're not going to see a whole lot of like big award-winning films on this list. That's going to come next season in the fall. So there's a lot of like interesting trends that I've found throughout. So for starters, one of the first things you notice right away is like at the beginning of the summer, you just have all sorts of just crazy like good movies. I mean, we're getting Multiverse of Madness, Top Gun Maverick, you have like Jurassic World, Lightyear, Elvis coming in right in the middle. Those are all really big movies. Love and Thunder, I'd also throw in the middle. That was a July release. But once
started strong.
Yeah, started strong. Middle was very strong. And this is typical of the summer movie season. Like once you get into like late July and August, movie, I don't want to say quality, but like the types of movies you get are definitely not quite up to par. I would say with like Minions as a whole, Bullet Train, Beast, and 3,000 Years of Longing. Like those are all like movies. They're kind of whatever. And especially this year, there was a week in about mid-August, I don't remember when, but it's the first time this year that the box office totals for the week were lower than they were last year in 2021 when the theaters were like still opening up, because there was just nothing out that anyone wanted to see. And I think that's also like, and you can see that in our own show too. Like we're trying to find new stuff to talk about every week, but I mean, we're talking about Jaws this week. We talked about Spider-Man last week. We talked about Rogue One. Like we've been talking about old movies that have been re-releasing, trying to like keep the show alive, because like late August has been really rough with some stuff. I don't know, like it almost seems like it almost seems like producers and like these big production companies just kind of forgot to schedule for August. Like you have like, Sony and Disney and all this, like, oh yeah, we're going to do all these summer blockbusters and we're going to all smush them all together and we're all just going to share the money. And then in August, it's kind of anybody's game, really. Like anyone, like if Disney decided to release Love and Thunder in like late August, that movie already made a ton of money, but it would have made so much more because that would have been the only thing in theaters that anyone would have been interested in seeing.
Exactly.
I don't know. Can you think of a reason why that is? Like, why did no one schedule any movies for late August? Or is it just
I don't know, but it's been I was gonna say it's a tough month. I mean, like I get like a lot of kids, like biggest things like kids go back to school pretty early in August, especially like recently I've noticed.
That's
like,
fair.
Which really
That's a fair
surprised me
point.
because I just didn't realize it compared to like what we had.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean still they could have planned something. Yeah, there was like close to nothing. And even in those few weeks, like that's all we've watched is reruns or like the re-releases. I don't know. There's been some of those like, I know like Gray Man came out in August, right? And that was like just like one of the like a streaming release. Like I think more of those had better.
And I feel like Gray Man 2 is
to take them.
Gray Man's kind of like a Bullet Train situation where that's a very much a summer action like blockbuster. Like I feel like Gray Man would have done really well in theaters. I'm honestly kind of surprised.
Honestly, I do too.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it didn't because it was bad, but like, I feel like a lot of people would see Ryan Gosling and would flock to the theaters. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Did you know?
Did I know?
Sorry, I didn't know if you were going to do that. So
No.
we watched. You ever seen the movie Crazy Stupid Love?
I have.
Oh, I
Actually,
didn't know. So I've never
wait.
seen it. We watched it.
Hold on. Have I seen that? That's with Steve Carell, right?
It's got like Steve Carell
Yes, I
and
have
Ryan
seen that.
Gosling
Yeah,
and Emma
Ryan
Stone.
Gosling, Emma Stone. Yeah.
I was like, watching it, and they're like a little love interest, kind of.
Yes.
Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, and I was like,
Yeah.
what am I watching? I was like so thrown off for a second, like actually, and I was like, wait, I don't know. Yeah, it just threw me for a little loop when I saw
guess. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think the two movies that really I think just solidify this like mediocrity to me is the Idris Elba double feature we got a couple weeks ago with Beast and 3,000 Years of Longing. Did you get a chance to see either of these two movies?
A Beast. If it's up to me, I will never probably see.
Okay.
I have no interest in seeing
Okay.
that movie. Every trailer, I was just like,
What is
why?
this? Yeah.
3,000 Years of Longing, I've never heard of actually.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
That's
so
fair.
I haven't seen a trailer for it.
And we're going to talk about that. So Beast is
Sick.
again, it's like a Bullet Train or a Gray Man, where it's just very much your summer action blockbuster monster movie. Like that's kind of like your Jaws of the summer, right? And there were some cool things in it, some interesting like long takes and things, but it wasn't.
Okay.
It's not something I would say don't go and watch. It was awful, but it was pretty forgettable because it's a lot of stuff that you've would come to expect and you've seen before. 3,000 Years of Longing, though, is very interesting, and its opening weekend was actually the week that had that massive dip, which is interesting. Because you have Idris Elba, who's a massive actor. You have Tilda Swinton, who is also a name that's going to bring people in. But it was directed by George Miller, and the last movie that George Miller did was Mad Max Fury Road, which is one of the greatest action movies of the last decade. Fantastic, blew up the box office, came out in about the same time. The marketing for that film was fantastic. Everything about the movie was great. And then he came out with this movie. If we're looking at just the movie, this is a total 180 from what that is. Mad Max it's basically like Mario Kart, like a dystopian Mario Kart is kind of like the simplest way to put it. 3,000 Years of Longing doesn't really have a plot. It's Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba like talking in her like apartment, and then Idris Elba is just like telling her stories of like different people who have like owned him, like he's been a genie for. So it's kind of like an anthology, really. It's I don't know. It wasn't.
It's interesting.
It wasn't bad. It was just different, and
You want to watch it again?
I wouldn't watch it again. No, and it's not even like an artsy movie, right? Like, because I feel like that's kind of one of the things I would say is like, yeah, like it might not be for everybody because it's all like artsy and stuff. It was just pointless. There was no real point to it. It was just, here's some stories from throughout history because I'm Idris Elba and I was asked to do this movie for a lot of money. I don't know. It was a very strange movie. But the other thing that's interesting about it, again, this is George Miller, who did a great marketing campaign for Mad Max. And like you said, you never heard of this movie. I didn't hear about this movie for a very long time either. I saw a trailer for it in a theater once, and I go to the theater a lot of times, and I see a lot of movies. Like the marketing for this movie was just non-existent. Like I don't know if they just knew that it wasn't going to appeal to a lot of people. I mean, some trailers, and even the trailer that they did release, felt very different from what it actually was. I mean, I would have expected like a Jurassic World Dominion sort of situation where, hey, our movie's crap, but we're going to make the best trailer of all time to get people to like buy tickets. They didn't even like try to market the film. And when you're at the end of August and you have Idris Elba and like you have all these names and all this opportunity to make a bunch of money, they just kind of threw it away and didn't just. All the opportunity was totally there, and instead they opened to the worst week of the year, and in a lower earning rate than what they did that same week the year prior, which I just think is fascinating. I don't have an explanation for it; it just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's a 3,000 Years of Longing.
That I feel bad for him, man. That's tough.
I don't though, because they didn't try.
That's tough.
Like I feel like they didn't try.
That's fair. That's fair.
Maybe, I don't know. You got to market your movie. I don't understand. I feel like I'm like sounding really angry about it. I don't care, to be honest. I just think it's really interesting. Here's the other thing that I found very interesting this summer. I'm calling it the Top Gun phenomenon. So when the initial Top Gun came out, it opened up great, did a great couple weeks, and then it dipped down. It stayed in like the top 10 for most of the summer, and it kept going and going and going. And it was like, wow, this movie's going on for like 14 weeks. This is crazy. That's unheard of for a movie. 14 weeks being in the top 10 is crazy. And then after 14 weeks, it went back to number 1 on the box office, which again is after 14 weeks, you're telling me that people were still going to see this movie enough to where it's going to be number 1 in the box office. And a lot of that does have to do with the big dip at the end of August every year.
Right.
But like that's really weird. And this is also the 80s, so it's a bit of a different scenario. I don't remember all the movies that were out at that time. But the reason I'm calling this a Top Gun phenomenon is Top Gun Maverick came out around the same time as the original. Did really great the first couple weeks. It stayed in pretty much in the top 5 for most of the summer. It dipped down to like number 6 or 7 about halfway through. And then 1 week and 14 weeks in, it went back up to number 1. Like it had almost the exact same box office trajectory as the original, which is like, it's super whack. People loved Top Gun. I almost like just want to do another episode on Top Gun because I have so many things to say. I've seen it so many times in theaters. I don't know, Graham, have you seen it like any more since we've recorded our episode on it?
I think I've seen it a total of like 3, maybe 2 or 3 times in theaters. I think I saw it once before and twice after. I went with like my family and then in-laws and stuff. And every time it was just great. I think I mentioned in that episode, there have only ever been 2 movies where my Apple Watch told me that my heart rate was like, I need to like chill out because it's like gotten too high or I'm like freaking out. That was the Batman and then Maverick. And it happened every single time. I don't know if I was just getting too, I don't know, because it wasn't like scary. I don't know if I was just like too excited or what, because dude, I love that movie. It was great. I liked it. But yeah, no, with Maverick, it just every time, dude, it was still so good every time. But then I would go see it.
Yeah, I held off on it. Is it still
out?
It is still out. It's still going strong. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like you have all these really great movies that we've mentioned, we've talked about, and it's still placing like top 5 every single week. It's crazy.
Good for Tom Cruise, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, and it's almost sad because I feel like Maverick is going to be is one of, if not the last movie of its kind. Like we're gonna tie this all together. Somehow we're gonna bring this home. Like you were saying, like earlier with like Jaws. Okay. Like if Jaws were made today, like it'd be all sorts of special effects and things, and that's kind of up in the air, like how that would go. Like that's how Maverick should have been made. And there's a movie, I forget what it's called. It has the same guy that plays Hangman in it. He's also in this movie. He filmed Maverick years ago, so it's okay. They just happen to be releasing at the same time. But it's another plane movie, and it's not like Maverick. It's a lot of CG, and we're going to stay in the cockpit, but we're not going to show what's going on around it too much because we're not actually in planes, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like this is the last kind. Like Maverick is part of a dying breed, and I feel like it can go in either one of 2 directions. Either A, things are going to continue the way they are, and movies like Maverick or Jaws, for example, are going to kind of decline, where we have these crazy practical effects, and it's special because it's all real, and we're just going to go straight towards a special effects route. But at the same time, Maverick kind of gives me hope that maybe with it being so successful, it will inspire more of these stars, I guess, because this is really Tom Cruise's movie. It'll inspire more people to make more things practically and to really push the limits of what we can do technologically to achieve stuff like that. Hopefully they go in direction number 2.
It's always, I was gonna say, I feel like it's always going to come back to that the director or that not necessarily the star at hand, but someone who just has the inspiration and like the dedication to make things happen. Cause like, dude, Tom Cruise is going to make it happen. If not, he'll do it himself. Like, but dude just gets things done, which is crazy. But same thing. I think if you still have the same like idea and they're driven, like, yes, like we're going to have CG and we're going to have like the special effects we have in today's time, but they're going to use that to make their movie better, not hurt it or like handicap themselves, if that makes sense. Like they're not going to be limited just to that. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We brought that home. We tied it together, Jaw, somehow. I'm proud of us. Graham, do you have any final thoughts on this past summer's movie lineup?
It's been a good summer. I can tell you that from what we've had the past few years, coming back from COVID, having the theaters for some of these movies just absolutely packed, and personally getting to experience an empty theater myself, which was wild. It was a good summer, a lot of great content. And I'm just excited to see what we get in this next season.
Yes. Yeah. It was a really great summer. A lot of really great stuff came out that I am looking forward to like seeing again. And I'm really glad that I got to experience when it came out. And like you said, I'm really excited for what's coming up. I've been going through, this next couple months schedule of what we're going to talk about on the show. And like, sometimes it's getting really difficult to decide what we're going to talk about because there's so many really cool things coming out, and I'm excited to see what happens in fall. So make sure you stay tuned on the show to see what we talk about next. You've been listening to the Popcorn Hangover. My name is Alex. That is Graham. We've been discussing Jaws and wrapping up the summer of 2022. Graham, it's been a fun one. I'm really glad we did this. Make sure you go follow us on all of our all the things: TikTok, Instagram, patreon.com/thepopcornhangover. And when you do, let us know what your favorite movies of this past summer were, and what you're looking forward to for the rest of the year. To tease next week's episode, Graham, do you have any ideas? How should we entice people to come back?
I have a black belt.
Okay.
In karate, taekwondo, all the fun stuff. So that might hint you to what we're talking about.
Okay.
Clearly that was years ago, but join us next week and see what we're talking about.
Yes. This has been the Popcorn Hangover, and we will see you next time.
Peace.